You are listening to Off Color, a podcast where we go beyond polite conversation for real talk about race. I'm your host, Rebekah Henderson, a.k.a. the Tan Tigress, and I have my producer here, James. And this week's episode, we have Shontel Lewis and Shayla Richard, two amazing Black women who are running for local office here in Denver. And this is Off Color. Okay, so good afternoon, friends and family. Wait, James, stop laughing at me when I do my intros that you don't like. Thank you very much. Very natural. I keep it as natural as possible. All right, so I want to make a quick shout out to myself right now. I have started a new film project called Running with My Girls, and it's an Indiegogo. It's a crowdfunded. You know I love to fund things, asking my friends for $1. All I need is 24,000 people to give me $1 each. So get on that, okay? So my new project, but I'm excited about it because it's called Running with My Girls because it's about women of color who are running for office. And so in Denver, Colorado. That's where we're located. I know our worldwide audience be listening, so we are in Denver. So today I do have two of the women that I will be working with, talking with, interviewing for my project. And I have Shontel Lewis, who is running for RTD, which is Regional Transportation District. Yes, I'm a political maverick, you guys. Regional Transportation District in Denver, Colorado. But I want to make sure people realize that election is November the 6th. So if you are not registered to vote, that's whack, and you should get on that immediately. You can get registered to vote at registertovote.org or something like that, right? Does anybody know?
Is there still time? When do you have to register?
I think you can register by the...
You can still register.
When can you register till?
You can register up to the day of.
Oh, in Denver, okay.
I didn't know that.
We didn't either. See, that's a public service announcement. These ladies know what's up.
Yeah, register
all right, good.
the day of and then vote.
Okay, so you can vote. And District B, what does District... Okay, let's get into that later. I'm so sorry. Let me keep it together.
Okay.
I know, James. I'm sorry, James. I can't do it all.
You're doing great.
All right, here I go. So Shontel Lewis is here, and we also have the beautiful Shayla Richard, who is running for local city council here in Denver, Colorado, for the Montbello area, which is District 11.
Yes.
Yep. See, I'm on top of it, you guys. 11, District 11. But those elections, some people don't know, those elections are in May of 2019. Okay. But Shontel, get on the bus, Lewis. Her election will be November 6th. So I'm going to need everybody to go ahead and just vote for her. And if you're like, oh, who's that? It doesn't matter. I told you what to do, so you better do it.
Thank you.
All right? Okay, anyway, I'm on a rant. All right, so ladies, I want to welcome you to the basement. Hello. Okay, now, before we talk about you, we're going to talk about me. Because something happened today, and I want to talk about it real quick, because this is part of what I like to do from time to time. These guys are new to the show, okay? Something happened, and Shayla, off mic, said she used a term that I like, petty labelle. And I feel like I had a very petty labelle moment in the parking lot at the local Sprouts. And lady out there, if you're listening, which I know you're not, but if you are, I'm sorry about my petty actions. Okay, here I go. I feel like I'm making a confession.
This is the Sprouts on East Colfax?
Sprouts on East Colfax, okay? It's a supermarket here in Denver for our worldwide listeners. Okay, so it was crazy over there. It was like you couldn't find any parking. I was just trying to go get some groceries, and a spot was opening up. One lady was waiting like to my right, for a spot to the right, and then I saw the other car was gonna pull out. And so I wanted to like go around her because the lady she was waiting for was gonna take too long, and so I just wanted to park. Right? I was in a rush. I was trying to get back here, make the mimosas, and have this podcast. So I was in that kind of mood, okay?
Sure.
And then I had to back up, and then she looked at me, and she was like mad, and I could tell she was like annoyed at me because I was like going around. Like it was a weird thing, but I was like, bitch, I'm just trying to back up so that I can go there. You go there, I go there. And I'm like gesturing to her, and she's like giving me the stink eye, right? And then I got mad. I was like, this bitch. You know, I just felt mad about it. And so then parked, whatever, in the store. And then as I'm going by, I see her in the store. and I accidentally bumped her cart. And I hit her cart, and then I was like, "Oh, sorry." And I saw her. She didn't realize it was me, and she was like, "Oh, that's okay." And then she saw it was me, and I was like, and I gave her like a stink eye, and then I just like kept it moving. And so, in that moment, I felt actually really badly because I was like, I can't believe I just did that. Like I like bumped this lady's cart somewhat accidentally, but I felt so good. It felt so good. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like that was like a petty, terrible thing that I did. And I was in my mind thinking, ugh, I hate these people in the parking lot at Sprouts. I'm not going to say white people, okay?
Okay.
Because I don't know if she was white.
Right.
She could have been.
It was a petty moment.
It was petty. Have you ever done anything like that?
I have upgraded my petty.
Oh, shit.
I would say that, there are definitely levels to petty. I would say that I have enrolled in master's level petty. Oh. So...
You getting your doctorate?
I'm going to defend very soon.
Okay.
For that PhD in petty. But, I think we all have moments where it feels good to seek revenge. Somehow we want to vindicate ourselves, because we were done wrong or what we perceive as done wrong. And I think that's where you just have to stop and kind of think, well, was it personal? Is it situational? And what is my reaction?
You sound too high-minded to be actually petty. That sounds pretty high-minded.
No, here's the thing. When you are high-minded, as you've just labeled me, and I think I like it, it means that you are diabolically petty, and you tend to think outside of the box in ways in which you can be petty, and you tend to also be more calculating with your petty. So it's not always... I'm going to get you back now. No.
It was just fate, though. And honestly, I didn't even hit her cart, like, totally on purpose. Mm-hmm. Because it was, like, right by the meat counter, and, like, I was just going by.
I don't understand. How can it be intentionally and on accident at the same time?
Two things can be true at the same time. Okay. Ask anyone. Okay?
No. You know what? I've heard the argument.
She's going to keep it going. I'm just...
No, I've heard that argument for duality before. Like, I love you, but I'm still going to fuck her. But I love you, but I'm going to mess with them too. Both can coexist at the same time.
So I will say, though, I do feel like my annoyance today and what I perceive to be a white woman was, in fact, rooted in what has happened in the past week with the Kavanaugh hearings and his appointment to the Supreme Court. I feel like I am angry at white women. Mm-hmm. And yesterday I did a program, anything I say does not reflect my employer, about the Ku Klux Klan in Colorado. Mm-hmm. And there was a white woman in the audience watching the film that we were showing. And she said... She was like, I just feel like, I'm learning, I'm like waking up and I'm seeing that like liberal white women are getting like, people are really angry at us and saying we're doing these things and I don't know what to do. And she was, and I could feel she was like really distraught and she wants to like do better and not have people be like angry at her. But I do feel like, at least in my circles, that's something I'm seeing a lot on social media. There's a lot of private conversations, like a conversation that we're kind of having now, where like, I'm angry.
Yeah.
I'm angry. And I feel like it came out in that moment of me bumping this lady's cart accidentally.
Yeah.
James. White James. Okay? So, Shontel, I can tell you're a good person because you're so sweet and kind and you ride the bus and stuff. But, girl, how you been feeling lately? How have you felt this week? Because I'm trying to check in with people of how they felt.
This week?
This week, after the hearings... The FBI quote unquote investigation and the confirmation of now Justice Kavanaugh.
Trigger warning. I would
never
call him Justice.
Never.
And trigger warning.
Yeah. Trigger warning.
I grew up in public schools. I grew up around the time of busing, and so we were bused from our neighborhood in 5 Points to a school that was much more affluent and also much more white. And so in my class, there were two of us, two black students and one Hispanic young man. And so I would have to deal with a lot of racism and like oppression and misogyny, sexism. And so I'm not new to this. And so a lot of people have asked me, like, how do I feel as a black woman in America? And I feel exactly as I felt as a 5-year-old, as a 15-year-old, as a 25-year-old. It's for me, it's welcome to the club. And it sucks to be here.
Yeah.
And for me also, in being in politics currently and running for office, I see how we get leadership that's not representative of constituents and not representatives of communities from a lot of the political things that I've experienced in my own race. And so I think I have been perpetually disappointed with this country. But I think there are a lot of people who have joined me in that.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with Shontel from a perspective of what the Black female experience has been living in this city, living in this country. While I absolutely hate to see what's happened, with Dr. Ford and, Brett the frat boy, I expected, I didn't have any expectations because, like Shontel, I have also been perpetually disappointed with the actions of this country, our political system. I went to all DPS schools my entire primary growing up in school, and then I ended up staying here and going to the University of Denver, which is
Me too. Shut up.
Which
I went to
is a
alums up in it. That's the whitest place in the world, y'all.
Which is a very affluent white school. And 20 years ago, when I was a freshman, there was no interest in the diversity and inclusion, those taglines, those really exciting words that make people feel, really kumbaya about getting a couple of brown and Black kids in there and a couple of females and, a couple of Latinos and Latinas. It wasn't, that wasn't an interest of the university. So I was always the only one, and I was always looked at to be that one singular voice for all, 32, 33 million Black people in the country. So, whenever there was a question, whenever there was a need for clarification, even from professors, they would always look at me, to approve or disapprove, those conversations about race and ethnicity. And I never in my life had felt so much like an other. I'd never felt so much, I just never had felt so different. So I can't say that I feel any different even now, being the age that I am and having had the opportunity to experience,
What are you, 20?
I'm 37, but
No, you're not, girl. Somebody take a picture of her and put it on the internet. Good Lord.
But I would have to say genetics and lifestyle kind of keep me looking like I'm, like I'm a child.
Young,
but
girl. Seriously.
but I'm definitely not a child. So, having to navigate all of the different spaces, that we navigate, and now being responsible to, or being looked at to be responsible to educate all of these, newly awakening people about privilege and fragility, what we call white fragility, and weaponizing white tears, and being able to mobilize around causes and not co-opting statements
Okay,
or
speaking
movements. So
of co-opting,
it's,
may I?
it's heavy. It is heavy right now to be a Black woman.
No, can I just?
I'm not even looking that way.
Why? Because I'm too crazy.
Because I already know something. Can I just say one thing before you?
You may, of course.
I will also say, and this is not to be divisive, nor is it to undermine or ignore or dismiss the harm that women have endured from sexual predators. But I will say, as a woman of color, as a Black woman specifically, like our stories about sexual violence have often been ignored by those closest to us.
Yes.
And albeit moms or aunts or uncles, and oftentimes our predators are much closer to us than in this situation. And this is not to say that that's not important. I'm just saying it's a conversation that we've had for many, many years, and we've not been believed for many, many years. And I rarely meet a person of color, especially a Black woman, who hasn't experienced this violence. So just to say that. But go ahead with the comments.
No. I will. The only thing I would add to that is that I'm not going to try to all women anybody at this time. But one of the things that drives me or enrages me is I don't know any women that don't have a story like that.
Yeah.
I don't know any.
Yeah.
And even myself, because I would say, no, I have not been the victim of sexual assault. I would say that I have not. And then I'm remembering some stuff that happened in college where I was like, that wasn't, or different things in high school. Just things that I did that I didn't want to do, but I did because I felt like I had to
do them.
Yep.
And in that moment, and being the mixed race person that I am and being exotified in my all white environment. And Shayla, when you were saying that, like being the only one, here I am with my light, bright Puerto Rican looking self, and people are always asking me like what for my Black viewpoint and making me be, because I'm in that, those are the spaces I've been in. I grew up in Westchester County, New York, right? So anyway, I'm just saying, I guess I just want to say that I feel you, and I'm particularly angry and upset at this time about everything that's going on. And I'm just, and I go on my rants and people look at me like I'm crazy when I'm like, men cannot have positions of power. I like say it every freaking week on this show. And like my husband 100% agrees. You know what my husband said during the Rockies playoffs? He's like, see? He's like, these men, they can hit a ball. That's good. Let them do that. They don't need to be leading anything. They don't need to be like running shit. They don't have the right temperament. Yeah. And that's how I feel, because I feel like they just don't understand. And
I think men can lead, and it's been proven that they can. I think it's men.
Not in this house.
I think it's men. I think you have to dissect it. It's men with entitlement. It's men who are told that they are above the law. It's men. It's not men necessarily. It's men who are not given the tools or the skills to lead well.
All right, let's ask White James just real quick, because he is allegedly a man. White James,
allegedly. Well, you can
prove.
Since it's alleged, it's like alleged until proven.
It's 3 in the afternoon.
Guilty.
It'll have to be one of those later shows.
Okay.
But no, I just think power corrupts. I look forward to one day, if we ever have a day where women make up 51% of the government, as they should, half of them will be scumbags, and that'll be great. Like, that's just like power corrupts, and eventually that's what happens. But the truth is that power lies entirely, statistically, almost entirely with one demographic in this country. And so that's...
Yeah. So let's change it up. That's what I'm
well,
about.
too, but then too, when you think about it, I mean, my experience growing up in my family is completely different than what I would say, maybe some of those women that voted for Trump would be, is just that do not place your power, do not give your independence over to a man. So I've never deferred to a man. to decide for me. I've never deferred to a man to lead me or to guide me in any way. I was never raised to do that. I was always raised to be an independent thinker, to take care of myself economically, and just to not depend on a man. So when I think about, I need a man to make a decision for me because he's probably smarter or better. Like I've never seen or viewed men as better or more capable because I grew up in a family of strong women. I've been socialized to not only revere women who are powerful and strong, but also to develop and cultivate my own power and independence. So it's very foreign concept to me that a woman would actually support someone who even is rumored to be violent against another woman.
It was just disgusting. So can I just rant about it? Is that okay? Sure. You guys mind? The day that after the FBI conclusion, whatever, that so-called investigation they had or whatever, and then listening to them talk, I haven't been like that upset about the news. I mean, I feel like there's something upsetting every day, but the last time I cried and was really distraught. Yeah. Okay? Because I cried when Bassem Jean was murdered in his home, right? I cry when I hear any story about these little black boys and girls getting murdered in the streets. I do cry for those things. If you don't, I feel like you're probably a monster.
You don't have a belly. If you don't feel, you don't have a belly button. That's my way to insult. It's like if you don't have any kind of response to that, you were hatched.
Right.
There was no way that you grew in utero inside of a woman, because that would indicate that you felt something.
Yeah. So I'm saying all those things to say, but I haven't been that distraught since Charlottesville.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Because that was just I think like most people, it just hit me hard. Seeing those visceral images of it, knowing that my black cousin had just married her white, boyfriend, and they had just moved to Charlottesville. It was just a really scary feeling. It felt really whatever. We know that. So I haven't felt that upset. And then I was already furious the whole time as everything's going on. And then when that piece of trash, actual trash, Susan Collins, yes, I will say it, because she's a trash person, and her 43-minute speech, I mean, I was driving. I feel like I could have killed someone the way I was screaming, because I couldn't believe that another woman, regardless, she's white, whatever, I'm like, damn, bitch, how could you do this? Mm-hmm. How could you throw us under the bus and say, oh, well, I believe she was assaulted, but I don't believe she knew who did it. Fuck you. Absolutely. It was just so disgusting to me. And I feel so for those white liberal women who are asking why we're angry, why women of color are mad, and black women in particular, at what is happening with their feminism, it's that's the shit right there. That's it. And they won't pull it together. Oh, sorry, I'm sweating and stuff. Anyway, I'm just upset about it, and I wanted to tell people that I'm upset.
Well, I think the root of the disappointment is because we expect and we don't get the outcome that we expect. And I've just stopped expecting. I've stopped expecting because
that hurt my heart.
The want and the will and the intention to do good and to help others and to try to dissolve the hatred and the vitriol that's happening, it's not enough. And so if being angry, I believe that anger just fuels the machine. They laugh. They want us to be angry, because with all that anger, it just gives them more of an incentive to come up with more ways to disarm us and to castigate us and to restrict us, to restrict our freedom. So keep being angry. This is what we're going to do next. While you're angry, we're going to pass this law and this law and this law and undo this and undo that and undo that. So keep being angry. What I think liberals and progressives have to start doing is look at the playbook. Look at what they're doing and how they're doing it. They're doing it legally. They're doing it with the law. So figure out the loopholes in their laws to turn it back on them. Like, you can be pissed all you want to. What does the law say? What can you do about this? In 30 days, we can flip back the House and the Senate. We can do that. That's actually possible. Then let's do that. There's a political way, there's a constitutional way that we can get rid of him. Let's seek that out. Let's make that a possibility. Let's stop being angry and go to their manager. Let's talk to their manager. Their manager's the Constitution. Their manager, are those amendments. That's what we have to do, because anger isn't going to get us where we need to go. We need to stop being angry and we need to start being strategic.
Okay, how about we be angry and strategic, though?
You can be. Absolutely. I'm not saying not be angry, but you've got to be able to repurpose that anger. And
I'm trying, because also that happened this week. Did you guys see Bette Midler's tweet?
I did.
You can't see Shontel's face, but the eye roll was like
I think her eyes are stuck in the back of her head.
We gotta hit her on the back.
We gotta get those eyes unstuck. I saw it, and it's always interesting to me how.
Before you,
can
you just say, do you have it?
Yeah,
just in case people don't know
Sorry,
what we're talking.
Allegedly the producer. That's probably what I should do.
I feel like she must have deleted it. She left it.
She tweeted it and then she took it down.
Okay. Because
it is just so bad and so embarrassing and so tone deaf and so everything that. Please just
okay.
Do you have? I can read it. Do you want me to read it?
Read the tweet, and then I'm going to read my response.
Okay. So for those who do not have context around what the Divine Miss M said, which
I gotta take
so
my earphones
disappointing.
off for this shit.
So, and I quote: "Women are the N-word of the world, raped, beaten, enslaved, married off, worked like dumb animals, denied education and inheritance, enduring the pain and danger of childbirth and life in silence for thousands of years. They're the most disrespected creatures on earth."
Women.
They got to bring back that character limit. That's like a.
I know.
It has to.
Okay. No. So I just wanted to respond to that, because I feel like I inadvertently kind of took your advice before you even gave it, Shayla, where I was like, well, let's try to turn this around, right? So I was just like, hey. This is my own tweets. You can follow me on Twitter at Rebekah Mendation, REBEKAHMEND. Don't worry about that. White James rolling his eyes at me as per usual. Okay, I just was saying, in my response to it was, in regards to her controversial tweet, who amongst us hath not tweeted a boof? I don't know.
That was a boof?
That was what...
Is that supposed to be the Kavanaugh reference?
Okay. Yeah. But I'm just saying that who hath not deleted something they said without proper background information?
Stupid.
She had no idea how offensive what she said was, and she thought she was helping. And I wasn't coming to her defense, because then I went in real hard and I was like, if you want to feel better, give me money for my Indiegogo project. I was like moving in there trying to get the money from her, because I know though. But I feel like it speaks to the piece of this like anger, or people got very, I don't want to say distracted, because I don't feel like it was something that should have been ignored, But I was like, hey, Bette Midler, I know that you feel bad about this, so let me tell you how you can feel better. Just give me $25,000.
Pretty much.
Bette, are you listening? Hey, girl.
I know she got some royalties from the Rose.
She's rich. She's like balling.
She's rich.
So, but I feel like with those... Oh, Shontel got something to say.
No,
yes, she does. Yes, you do. I can see it in your eyes, in your beautiful eyes.
It was silly. I mean, this 2018.
I just feel like okay, so on one side, yes, because I full disclosure, I love Bette Midler, and I
So
have
do
loved
I.
her
So
since
do
I was
I.
a little girl.
So do I. I watch Stella all the time. I watch Beaches.
Oh,
Was it Big Business when her and Lily Tomlin were the twins? Like, for real, like Bette Midler, like, she's always, for me, just been like one of my favorites. So when I read that,
It
I
hurt,
was
didn't it?
supremely disappointed
Yeah.
because I've always felt like, just like Jane Fonda, you know,
Yeah.
like we've got like those staples and those icons that have gone through the transit and they just have seemed to get it.
Yeah.
And not only have they gotten it, but they've also put in their time and their money.
Yeah.
Where, you know, they've walked the walk and they've talked the talk, they've walked the walk. So, you know, it was never disingenuous. It was never like
Yeah.
a photo op. Like, it was
Yeah.
legitimately, you know, who they are. And so to see the things that they've said, it's just like, what the hell? But to the point, when you were talking about anger, I also feel like her tweet was an attempt to stand in solidarity, and her attempt to say, look at how they treat us. And while she should not have said that, luckily she did not author that. But I'm kind of, and I won't say kind of, I'm very tired of marginalized groups coming in and co-opting civil rights and slavery to equate their particular group's struggle. Because on the other hand, with this tweet, because I'm a Twitter banker myself, there were folks that have come in, well, Jews have suffered as much as blacks, and you're like, oh shit, here we go. Like, you know, there's got to be a point where we can call it what it is and let each infraction and egregious error be that singular thing, and figure out how to mobilize and speak to that without being offensive to other groups and saying, oh, your people, they're the N-words of this particular time, or they're the N-words of this. No, that's not okay.
No, the N-words are the N-words.
The
that's
the
the
N-word
reality
is
of
the
it.
N-word, and it speaks to a very particular group. Mm-hmm. It has a very particular connotation to it, and that's what that is. Because this isn't about Black women. That's not what this is about at all. And I think she missed an opportunity.
Well, and but then her white fragility kicked in her responses. Of course. You know? So that was like, she was like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. You'll go on. Like, it was just like this weird, like, defensive, deflective thing.
Sure.
And then I was disappointed, but I continued to tweet at her in hopes that she'll donate to my project Indiegogo, Running with My Girls. Okay, Shontel?
I think there's
Shameless plug, but not shameless at all.
I am not mad. I think so we see this so often where people mess up and then they apologize and then we move forward. And there's no true accountability to the learning. And as a former classroom educator, and someone who is educating for the rest of my life, I'm committed to that. I'd like to see us take that a step further. And I don't know if it's if it's an essay, or you write an essay and you understand break down your understanding of this. So you can understand women are the N-word of today. And you think about there are lots of women. There are women of mixed race, there are Black women, there are Latinas, there are Asian women, there are indigenous women, right? And going through all of those and understanding why that was such a terrible thing to say. I am all about learning and forgiveness, but I'm not about simply forgiving someone because they've apologized. I'm about forgiving someone because they've shown that they have truly learned from it and they understand the nuances, the intersections of those things, right? So what would be great is if her next tweets were a deep understanding and reflection and introspection and research into why that is problematic.
Yeah.
But we don't see that.
No, they say sorry, and then they keep going on. Ooh, made that mistake, won't do that again. you know.
But like, why not?
But I agree with you. It's the best apology is absolutely change behavior, and then it's involvement. Okay, I said this, but I understand where we are politically. So what can I do as someone who's made this error? What can I do to not only change the narrative, but support those who are running to change the narrative? How can I uplift and showcase,
female filmmakers, named Rebekah Henderson,
or, women of color who are running for office? How do I need to schedule a brunch in my lavish estate for other white women to get to have real candid conversations and get educated around language and context and connotation, and how that, although my intentions were not to hurt and harm, you don't get to say, I didn't mean to hurt you after you've done it. You can't control that after it's done.
It doesn't go away, right? The sting does not go away.
No.
And the damage is already done. And there are, I know women of color who are like, my job is not to educate white women. It's just not. My job is not to educate white men. It's just not. And I know other women of color and men of color who say, absolutely, I'm happy to.
Yeah.
Right? But you have to be open to that learning.
I know that, and that's the thing, because I feel like I have what I like to call that mixed race guilt, right? I got that half white guilt. So I am always like, okay, I'll do it this time because I'm trying to spare you and you.
And I actually don't mind.
Yeah.
I don't mind going into deep discussions and having dialogue about race and intersectionality and I don't mind. I think if someone is, and that could be because I'm a former educator, right? I'm used to being in classrooms, having conversations with people to learn something. I have no qualms about that. My issue is when folks are like, I get it, and they haven't done any true, deep, guiding themselves to come to different answers.
Yeah, and I feel like it always, I've seen it again and again because I facilitate conversations around race from time to time. And I feel like that's often what I'm left with, is that people are not ready to really do the work, or they say they're doing it and then they don't, and then I be getting real mad at them.
Yeah, and you've heard it, so you may know this, Shayla, but you know for sure, Rebekah, one of the things that I've struggled with in my race is that people can't seem to get away from my race, me as an African American woman, as a Black woman. And so much so that we aren't having conversations about the issues, about my platform, or why I'm the most qualified person in this race. People just want to have conversations.
She's Black and she's running.
Yeah, that she's Black and she's running, and she catches a bus, and that's why she's qualified. And I take great offense to that. Because I
no, girl, I wrote that on all your postcards.
She did postcards for me. I should have known it was going to be a problem.
You put a stamp on it. It's going out.
It was gonna be
I'll say what I said about Shontel Lewis on the postcards for RTD.
I trust you.
No, I'll say it. I said, Shontel is my friend, and she is running for RTD Board of Directors, and she is a Denver native. And she is highly qualified, and she rides the bus every day, right? And please vote for her before November 6th.
That's fine. But I mean, people are saying, your only qualification is that you are a Black woman. Yeah. And yes, I am a Black woman. Something I can't hide and something I'm incredibly proud of. Yeah. And that's not the only reason I'm qualified. I'm qualified because I work for RTD. I'm qualified because I've done community organizing. I'm qualified because I've been on the bus for over 30 years, and I understand what it means to be transit dependent, so to be reliant on transit, and also to use public transportation at leisure. I understand planning, as I worked in a planning department. I worked under Type 6. I've been an equity practitioner. I can really list off 1,000 reasons of why I'm qualified for this position, but people only want to have one discussion about one. And that is that I'm a Black woman.
Well, because they're looking at us as Black women now. There's a big movement going on. Elect Black women, trust Black women, and I think there are important points and conversations that are being missed. It's not just that we're Black, but it's also about the qualifications, and it's also about the, the genius and the intelligence that Black women have. I mean, not for anything, Black women are the most educated group of women in this country. There's more Black women in college and with degrees than there are white women and white men and Black men. So, it speaks to, the fortitude that Black women have, because we've been leading for a very long time. We may not have had a title. We may not have had yard signs. There may not be, the institutional structure around it, but I absolutely believe that there is, there is a dismissive quality that's happening at the same time with being a Black woman running for office, that it's, you're being overlooked for all of the other qualifications. Other than that, you're a Black woman and you're expected to lead with that. But I don't feel that it's enough, nor am I resting on it. Am I sitting on it?
Totally. And to underscore or to say this, my experience as a Black woman does make me uniquely qualified to lead in this city, to lead in this country, and to lead in this state. And I also believe that Black women and women of color have carried the burden of the harms from this world historically, and we should be close to the power, and we should be the ones who are in power. But that's not the only reason that I'm qualified for this seat.
Absolutely.
I don't want people to be confused.
Don't get it twisted.
All right, so don't get it twisted, and people need to be making sure that they're registered to vote.
Yeah.
And that they know what's on the ballot.
A lot.
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
This
Wait.
our
Real quick.
ballot is 6 pages. This is an incredibly important.
It's so heavy. It takes like 2 stamps instead of 1.
It's incredibly.
And can we get it right this time? Can we actually remove
Slavery. So abolish. The A is for abolish. So you were supposed to vote yes on Amendment A.
Let's get it right.
Oh, shit.
I got you.
They did it to us last time, too. The language was confusing.
It was so confusing.
So I feel like
It's more straightforward
it's
this
this
year.
year. This year, it's vote. Is it yes or no?
Yes to abolish, no not to abolish. So, right?
That was not clear.
Shit, you're right. It's not as clear as I thought.
Hold on. I got you.
Yes, you're voting yes on A, though.
I got you. Say yes, you're voting yes on A. I got you. One moment. I have a cheat sheet here. And I am going to hook us up.
And if you're in Aurora like me, we can finally vote to ban red light cameras. You can never get another camera ticket from a cop if you vote it down. So.
Yeah, vote that down. I'm liking all this local stuff.
Incredible.
But that's something, that's like that's the reason I'm working on this film project and stuff, right? Because even though it's like this local story, in my mind, it's the story of every small city in America, of every town, of these like local elections, of people pay attention.
Yes.
Because like, this is it. This is real. All right, lay it on us, Shontel.
You want all of them?
No, girl, that'll take forever. We gotta go.
Okay.
It's long, but abolish. What do we vote on A?
Okay. A, yes.
Vote
Yes
yes on
on
A
A.
to
On A.
abolish
Slavery. A is for abolish. Okay. I just want to
And
be
I
clear on that.
shamelessly would like to plug that we should vote yes on 73.
Oh,
It's
word.
education funding.
Yeah, I hear that too.
Shameless plug.
Shameless play. That's okay.
okay.
I got a baby in DPS school.
Yeah.
We got to get these babies educated.
And it's statewide.
And it's
Yeah, it'll
Which-
increase teacher pay.
which
there's
we
a lot
need.
of
I mean,
good
and it's
stuff in
another
it.
thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
we've got to
yeah.
repeal Tabor, but that's a whole nother
Yeah,
conversation.
so it's happening. So this is a very local Denver election stuff. So I need you guys to.
Oh, that's right.
But no, it's okay. I'm just saying people need to pay attention, and people don't, and it's very frustrating to me, and I don't really totally understand why. Because I hear people say, "Oh, well, I don't vote because it doesn't do much," and I'm like, get the fuck out of here with that. I'm so sorry
your
to say.
circles. I mean, it's
Yeah.
your circles. It's your friends. It's your family. I mean, I grew up knowing that you needed to vote.
Yeah.
I watched my grandmother take the bus to go vote because she didn't drive.
Yeah.
I remember watching, the DNC, when I was young. I remember watching, this is how long I've been paying attention, I remember watching Michael Dukakis in 1988.
Yeah.
So it just depends on who you're around and what you're told and what you're taught. And not everyone, I've also come to learn this, not everyone is curious. Not everyone is precocious. Some people really do like to be told what the fuck to do.
Well, I'll tell them what to do right now. You can vote
so-
for Shontel Lewis for RTD, District B.
Absolutely.
And then if you live in District 11, you're going to vote for Shayla Richard.
And
That's
then they're
right.
gonna donate.
And then you can donate money to my Indiegogo. Listen, I'm not trying to detract from people's campaigns money. I'm just saying, if
You know what? If you have $15, you can give $5 to everybody. And
Yeah,
You
That's
can actually just
what I'm
donate
saying.
to these two lovely ladies and just vote for me because
Yeah.
I'm just so close that I just need a vote at this
Yeah,
point.
that's right.
look
that's right.
at the look at. So
look at the
$7.50 for
generous-
Shayla and $7.50 for Rebekah. Oh, look at that quick math. Wait, that was DPS. Shout out to my Bella High School class of 1999. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's DPS. Yeah, I got it.
Say your website, please. Shayla, what is your website?
Listen, I have to rebuild my website.
Oh, just kidding.
No, I have a website though.
Okay.
Listen, children. Okay, you can find me at Shayla for Counsel at Twitter. You can find me at Shayla for Counsel on Facebook. And you can email me at shaylaforcounsel@gmail.com until I get my site up.
Okay.
But,
okay, word. I keep forgetting that the election is kind of far out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in May for my little. So you come back on, closer to the election.
Sure.
And we're going to hear more about the things that are happening.
In District 11.
Yeah, Shontel, for RTDB, I am going to say something, and this does not reflect you at all. It's just my own stuff.
Here we
okay?
go.
May I?
Yeah,
So-
you want me to say my website?
No, I'm going to say my thing. Okay, no, I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like people might turn it off. Maybe you should say it now. Say it now. Say your website now.
Shontel for RTD is SHONTELFORRTD.com.
Okay, and we'll also tweet that on Off Color Pod. We'll share it on our Off Color Facebook page and all of that.
I have a
But,
Twitter. You're not going to get a response.
Stop it. Shayla,
Yeah, I
RTD.
endorsed you on Twitter. And it's like, oh.
Oh, me too. I'm like
didn't see
tweeting. I'm
it.
endorsing. There's
She
like
didn't
nothing.
see it. I was like, oh, I love Shontel.
Yeah, but can I just say though?
I will say that being able to run for office takes a lot of political capital, social capital, time, privilege, and I am a working mom. I was a teen mom. I don't have the time to Facebook, to Twitter, to Instagram, to fundraise, to knock doors, to do all of these
real.
things
It's
that
real.
are absolutely critical.
I want to
real.
talk about the barriers.
It's real. And there
Many
are
people who are in these races. I just
So let's
I can't
talk about-
quit my full-time job.
Right. So I want to talk about the person. There's this white lady that's running against you, right? And I think I don't know. Have you heard of this, White James? I'm looking at you.
This is the same. Is this the conversation we
The
talked
white
about on the
James?
last episode?
He knows all the white people,
You know,
right?
white people, white James.
Oh, that lady from RTD. Yeah.
Yeah. So her
see?
name is. So yeah.
Yeah, he does.
He knows. He does. He knows.
It's my aunt, actually.
Oh, she brings the green bean casserole for Thanksgiving.
She puts raisins in it.
No, she puts them onions on the top. The raisins go in the potato salad. The string onions on the top for green bean casserole.
Yeah.
But you did tell this story, I think, on the last episode. You talked about she campaigned to you directly. Was this the same
Yeah,
story?
she
Okay.
came up to me at the farmer's market here in our neighborhood, and I was like, aren't you running against like Shontel? Isn't she black? And she was like, yeah. And then I was like, I can't vote for you. And so that is, no, but I'm serious. I didn't know her. I didn't know anything about her. But I just know, so when people talk about like identity politics, blah, 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 yeah, I am, and I quote Issa Rae, I'm rooting for everybody black.
Well, so is
okay?
my partner.
So that's just how I am. However, to me, it's because I already know you're qualified. I already know you're highly educated. I already know you have those experiences, right? So I already know that about you. So of course I'm gonna vote for the black person in any race, basically, right? Because I know that even though people think that that's their only qualification, I know it's not.
Yeah.
Right.
So I already know that. So
Because
to me,
we always have to be better. I mean, we inherently we know that there are just certain spaces that we don't go in until our I's are dotted and our T's are crossed. We don't do it. We just don't. So there's no question at all whatsoever. Whether or
if
not
I see a black woman
you're
running,
qualified,
I'm like, oh, she's
or
qualified.
there's something there that would be of benefit to the office, to the institution you're running to join. Of course, there's going to be a benefit because we have more to lose. We have more to lose. We risk more. We risk greater. And sometimes it's for very little reward.
But can I say what I want? So to me, in the perfect world, this Joy-Ann person, right? She would say, you know what? I'm not going to run because I know that this qualified Black woman is running for this position, and I'm going to go to the back of the bus today. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, that's
I'm going to support her, and I'm going to use my political capital to help uplift this Black woman. Right? And I want them to like take a step back, and I feel like nobody is like doing that, and it's infuriating to me.
That will only be done by somebody who recognizes and acknowledges their position and their privilege, and that will only come from somebody who identifies and considers himself and has done the work of an ally or an accomplice, really, to the movement of making sure that people of color, women of color, Black women, are able to enter and occupy spaces in which that they haven't previously been welcome or have had to fight for. So that's assuming that Joy-Ann feels that way, but we've got to look at it. Everyone is moving and acting for preservation. Yeah. This isn't about anything other than preservation. So people are willing to do what they have to do that, whether it means running over a very qualified Black woman or, committing other things that they really shouldn't do. It's assuming that she feels that way. And if she does feel that way, absolutely. Step aside. I feel that way for everybody that's running for District B. Step aside. Let someone else come in. Let someone new come in and do this work. There's other things that can be done. Let Shontel lead. Let her do it. She can do it. She's got my vote.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you got my vote too.
That's
3. You got Ken's vote. You got my husband's vote. You got my neighbor's vote. You got this
here.
neighbor's vote. I'm ready. So I'm really excited, and I just want to make sure. So remember, everybody, register to vote. Get your vote out. Yeah. Shayla Richard, District 11. Shontel Lewis, RTD. Rebekah Henderson, running with my girls, Indiegogo.
Yeah, that's right.
I like it.
White James, are you going to take us out? You going to take us home? You have anything you want to add?
You got bars?
Of course he does.
Whenever someone's like, ooh, can you sing or can you rap? I'm like, yeah, I can sing. They're like, can you rap? I'm like, yeah. They're like, let me hear something. I'll be like, in West Philadelphia, born and raised, on the playground is where I spent most of my days. Chilling out, maxing, relaxing out, cooling out, shooting some b-ball. Yeah, that's like always like my go-to.
Should we do that? I can pull up the instrumental.
I don't even need music. I don't need music. What? I don't need music.
Shontel, you got a rap?
I don't need a hook.
Okay. Oh, Shontel got a rap. Here she goes. Ready?
Oh, you said, do I have a rap? Oh, yes.
Wait, she put both hands on the table.
Did.
I thought she was getting ready to hit us.
Break it down.
I thought she was getting ready to hit with that.
Yeah.
Can play with me. Yo.
Can I give you a funny rap that we made up?
Oh,
that my friends and I made up when we were on the bus.
Yes. Do it.
Okay. Ready? Okay. Chilling on the bus, yo, we riding down the street, sitting here hungry, ain't got you. Oh, I can't cuss, huh?
I'm dropping all the bombs. Absolutely.
Nobody's listening to this.
Start over. Nobody's listening.
I want all the profane words.
Okay, go. Hit it. I tried to clap. Okay. I can't do it because I'm always off beat. It's that white side of me.
Hey, yo, we chilling on the bus and we riding down the street. Sitting here hungry, ain't got shit to eat. That's a bitch. Why? We don't lie. Stare one more time, I'ma punch you in the guy.
But I like how y'all was like, you was chilling on the bus. Hey. Was it the 40?
It was the 43.
Okay. You was on the 43 because I was like on the 40.
Woo.
No, that's when you.
All right, I'm not telling you. I'm ready.
Okay. I'm ready.
Do I start over?
Yeah, go ahead. Start over.
I'm going to try not to laugh.
Okay. No, ready? Look at her, I guess.
Okay. Hey, yo, we chilling on the bus and we riding down the street. Sitting here hungry, ain't got shit to eat. That's a bitch. Why? You know we don't lie. Stare one more time, I'ma punch you in the eye, guy. Who is this chick? She thinks she is the shit. Turn around and do a 360 on a bitch. Hey.
Bars!
Off Color is a presentation of Tan Tigress Productions, hosted by Rebekah Henderson, produced by me, James Meekum, music also by me. Find us on the web at offcolorpod.com, on Twitter at offcolorpod, on Facebook at offcolorpodcast, and subscribe to us on Stitcher, iTunes, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. Also, if you're looking to register to vote in Colorado, do it on the Secretary of State website, sos.state.co.us. Thanks for listening.